Good afternoon and welcome to another segment of 360 Degrees to Success. I have a very, very special guest today, Cami Baker, who's author of the book Mingle to Millions. Cami is an international speaker, fiercely entrepreneurial. She was on HGTV House Hunters and a founder of the Worldwide Net Web. She's given over 1,000 presentations to audiences as large as 30,000. She's also a keynote speaker. She's worked with companies like Berkshire Hathaway, Ronald McDonald House, Keller Williams, and hundreds of other groups assisting their people in the art and science of building resources, relationships, and revenues that rock. She was featured in Success from Home Magazine on HGTV twice, and as a judge on NBC's The Celebrity Apprentice. Cami's also a mentor of mine, and Cami, welcome to the show.
And congratulations on your success. I'm so glad to see you following in the footsteps of having a TV show. That's exciting.
Thank you. And Cami is unique in that she has kind of busted the myth of networking and what everybody thinks networking is and why networking doesn't work, and has come up with a really a great system on how to network and how to gain valuable contacts and increase your business and your brand. If you don't have the book Mingle to Millions, I recommend you get it. So Cami, can you talk about what you do and your new concept of networking that nobody or enough people don't know about yet?
Well, networking, as you know, Jeff, with us working together, networking really doesn't work because it's random activity. We show up at events, we spray our card to everybody, and we pray somebody will call us, and we leave with big stacks of cards, and nobody ever calls anybody, and we all wonder why it doesn't work. And so I don't even like to use the word networking anymore. It just brings up ickiness and just yucky connotation, and nobody really likes to network. And even the people who say they like to network, that doesn't mean that they're actually being professional, productive, and profitable with it. So the word that I have come up with is net webbing. So networking doesn't work because it's random activity. Net webbing allows us to leverage our time through planned strategy. When we can set the intention before we even go to events, when we can pay attention to ourselves, our body language, the people in the room, how we're showing up, being meaningful and masterful and memorable, then we can create retention of those resources, relationships, and revenue that you were just mentioning. So when there's a little bit of a system to it, it actually makes it fun, it makes it productive and profitable for everyone involved.
It's absolutely true. We all know the bad word networking, and you go to these events and everybody gives a 30-second or 60-second elevator pitch, and nobody's listening to what that person's saying. All they're thinking about is what they're going to say next. And even if that's not the case, you're hearing the same thing week after week that you go to these meetings, and it really doesn't do anything. It really doesn't. It's just an invaluable waste of time.
Well, the 30-second elevator pitch doesn't work. I don't know that it's ever worked. I'm not sure exactly who came up with it. And you know me, I like to be the disruptor in any industry. So for those who are out practicing their 30-second pitch and just getting their words down, listen, it's like saying one size fits all, and it's just not true. One size does not fit all. And so when we can actually ask questions of people and understand their situation so that we can tailor how we're talking to them, that way, instead of having a boring dirty 30-second pitch, as my publisher calls it, then we can actually tailor it and actually have a conversation that is meaningful and that is masterful and that is memorable for the person who is receiving it.
Absolutely. And what's very important, and what I learned even more valuable from Cami, was talking about branding and getting professional pictures and cause marketing, which is a huge thing that Cami does on a regular basis. Facebook Live videos. Cami, real quick, before we get into that, I just want to give you an opportunity, and more than once, but if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Well, I am real, I'm raw, I'm relatable, and I'm reachable. So Another little tip for all business people out there, to your point, there's a lot of ways to reach me. You can call me, you can text me, you can email me, you can Facebook me, you can carry your pigeon or smoke signal, as I like to say. When you're a business person, you need to be out there. I cannot believe it when I get a business card that doesn't have a phone number on it or an email address. I don't even know what people are thinking. So CamiBaker.com. My phone number is 603-785-2598, and I am so reachable. It is easy to find me on the internet.
And one of the other greatest things about Cami and working with her is she tells it like it is, like she just said. She doesn't sugarcoat anything, rainbows and unicorns, and she'll definitely get you the results that you want based on your goals, your vision, and what you want to do. So, Cami, let's talk about first, I guess, cause marketing, which is something you talk a lot about. And go ahead.
The thing about cause marketing, and I don't lead with that because it's confusing, and anything that you have to explain is just not a good marketing tool. I really have come to find, Jeff, that what cause marketing is, it's my platform. It's my way of helping my clients to show up in a different way. So one of my new taglines is, how you meet people matters. And not only how you meet people, but how people meet you. How people meet you matters. And so cause marketing campaigns look like this. When you have a cause that you are passionate about, animals, elderly, children, cancer, veterans, the environment, recycling, whatever it is that you are passionate about, when you can take that passion and use it as a way to market yourself and your business, the heavens truly open up, because it gives us the opportunity to leave our icky salesperson at home. And to your point about the 30-second elevator pitch, when I was out as, for example, when I was a real estate agent, when I would go to these events and you'd have your 30 seconds of fame around the group, instead of saying, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I sure would love your referrals, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell, I could, when it came to me, I would say, hey, my name's Cami Baker. I'm sponsoring an antique car show. All the proceeds go to the Live and Let Live farm. We're looking for hot cars. We're looking for people who love cars. We're looking for people who might want to promote their business and have a table or a booth, and people who want to help the farm. So come talk to me at the end of the meeting, and I'll get you a flyer and get you some more information. And that was it. And I want you to really think about the psychology of this. Not only does it make you different, that you're not given that same boring 30-second pitch that everybody else is, but it helps people to see you as, wow, this person's doing something in the world. They're giving back. They're not touting about how great they are. They're actually doing something to contribute, in this case, to the farm. And people would come up to me at the end and they would say, my brother has an antique car. The guy down the road's got 3 of them. I'll let him know. I love antique cars. My church volunteers at the Live and Let Live farm. I'm so glad you're doing something for them. My uncle rescued a horse from there. In other words, it created conversation so that I could meet people where they're at and bridge the humanity gap. And there is a big difference when we go out networking in what we normally hear, which is, so what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? That's what people always say. But when somebody asks you what you do, and you say, I'm so glad you asked, because I'm doing this car show and the proceeds go to Live and Let Live farm and blah, 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 blah. 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days later, when they say, so what do you do anyway? That is a very different question. Now they care. Now they're interested. How you meet people, and even more importantly, how people meet you, matters.
Right. Now on that, but you, when we did our mentoring sessions and what you say in your book, that is, go back the other way, and the same example I gave earlier, somebody asks you, what do you do? They don't really care because they can't wait to tell you what they do, right? And then
it's so true. When people, so I really think about all this stuff a lot, Jeff, because this is what I live, eat, and breathe. And when people ask you what you do, what they're really asking you is either, what do you do that will benefit me? Or what do you do that's interesting enough that I give a crap to sit here and listen to it long enough? Like what is interesting to me? What's going to benefit me? Me, 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 me. They don't care what you do. They want to know what you. Now, I know there's a lot of heart-centered, lovey, huggy, touchy-feely people out there that saying, "No, I really do. I really do care what you do." Well, you're at a networking event, you're asking people what they do because you really just haven't really mastered the art of creating any other conversation outside of that. So even for you people who say, I really do care what people do. Okay, awesome. Let's flex our muscle a little bit. Let's still stand up, step out, step into a new way of being seen so that we're actually creating conversation that is meaningful and that people do remember. If you're that person that's walking around, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You are just like all the other masses of people. Why not? Why not be cognizant? Why not pay attention to conversations? And you know, when you go in there, you know 5, 10, 15 people are going to say, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Since you know that, then go ahead and be prepared to answer it differently and be the one who doesn't start every conversation that way. Just think about, how can I be more engaging, more interesting?
And what makes you different than everybody else and unique, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the things that you talked about that you like to do is when you go to an event, you like to be the first or second person there, right? After the event coordinator. And there's a benefit in that as well.
There's a ton of benefit in being there early. As a matter of fact, I had a long meeting today with a lady who is an event coordinator, and we were talking about all the benefits. So back to how you meet people matters. And we were even talking about this, when you are even a couple of miles away from the event, before you even get there, I have seen, and she was sharing stories with me, and perhaps you can relate to this. I have actually seen people in the parking lot that are flipping each other off and cutting each other off to get a parking space and go inside. And 10 minutes later, one of them is running the event and the other person's walking up to register. Oopsie, how weird and awkward. So, not only do we want to get there early, but we want to, all right, let's set our intention. Long before we even pull in the parking lot, let's be prepared. We don't want to be pulling in, opening up our door with beer bottles and baby bottles and paper flying out, and we're getting all ready and we're all flustered, and we got the phone over here, and we want to be really prepared, because how you meet people can actually start in the parking lot or even 2 red lights down the road from the event. Can you imagine cutting somebody off at the red light, flipping somebody off, having some nasty, weird road rage, and going inside and finding out that that person's going to be in that event with you for the next 2 hours? How awkward would that be?
That wouldn't be very much fun.
Well, not only that, but even if it's not that dramatic of a situation, you still want to be composed and be ready, because if we're going to go to an event, we're going to spend an hour there. It's going to take us half an hour to get there, half an hour to get home. If we're going to take that much time out of our day, out of our life, we want to actually be productive and profitable and present and poised and packaged and positioned as the expert that we want people to see and receive us as. So let's just, that is why networking doesn't work. It's random activity. People show up late, they slide in sideways, they're all disheveled, they throw out a bunch of cards and they think they've done something.
Right.
But another reason why you want to get there early is, when you want to leverage your time, how about actually focusing on speaking to the most connected, the most the leaders in the room, the speaker, the one that organizes the event? Wouldn't it be smart to actually get to know the people that are well known and that can help you to get well known? So when you get there early, you can actually offer to help out. You can sign people in at the sign-in table. When you meet everybody as they're coming in, instead of walking in 15 minutes late and everybody's already paired up and you feel awkward because all these cliques are formed, and all these different reasons why I hear that people don't enjoy networking, we can actually eliminate all of that by being conscious, being present, being packaged and professional, get there early, offer to help. I have literally made hundreds of thousands of dollars by getting multi-million dollar mentorship because I was there early and the speakers that were there had time to sit down and talk to me personally about my business, about my life, about what was going on because I was there early and we had time to sit down and chat.
Absolutely, and it's very important, like you said, to set your attention. You want to go in there knowing what what you want to get out of this, not just the regular, it's another networking, hand out my cards, because that simply doesn't work. And in about the 12 minutes we have left, Cami, for somebody who would hire you to help them, like I said, I have, friends of mine have. It's very valuable what you do. Could you kind of talk about what you do, maybe a few tips or something, kind of what you do for people?
Yeah, for sure. So the people that typically work with me they're entrepreneurs, they're business owners, they're in sales. Anyone who's in a service-based industry that makes a high commission. I'm not necessarily for the person who's out pushing a bottle of vitamins going to make $8 per commission. I'm more for the people who are really building a serious business where, a commission for them is 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. In other words, real estate, financial planners, people like yourself who are working with other people at a high net worth, and you want to be seen as professional, be seen as a leader. The cause marketing campaign that I help people with is, when you are wanting to live on purpose, people, planet, profit, when you want to see all of them enhanced, when you want people and when you meet them at a networking event, instead of you saying, oh, I'm a real estate agent, they go, I know a lot of those. When you can go from to ooh, ooh, when people meet you, that is a very different way of showing up. Right now, I'm working with a woman in my area who is the president of the Board of Realtors here. She runs 6 offices and 120 agents are in her corral. And I am helping her to recruit agents that do 10 million and more in gross sales. I'm helping her to train her people so that they understand how they meet people matters, so that they are enhancing the way that they are being seen. So whether it's an individual or someone who has 5, 10, 20 salespeople, when you are in an industry where every day your job, your career, your business, its life's blood is building relationships, I can help you with that. And, it's not just about going out and getting leads. It's not just about going to networking events and passing out cards. It's truly about planting seeds. There are people that are my clients, my resources, my vendors, all that kind of stuff now from 8, 10, 12 years ago. So when you go to a networking event and you think to yourself, oh, that was a waste of time, or oh, nobody bought my product, nobody set an appointment, nobody whatever, that's very short-sighted. We want to have long-term vision of how am I showing up right now in this moment that I'm making such an impression, that I'm having such an influence that I will increase my income now, next year, and 10 years from now.
Not only that, but here's another valuable tip that I learned from Cami, and everybody does this, and nobody likes it, and they don't realize it. You go to a networking event, you get somebody's card, and you send that crazy email. It was great meeting you at the ABC event last night. Let's chat for coffee sometime, and everybody sends the same email. And Cami and I work very diligently on being specific, finding out about that person, knowing something that's specific or personal to them, putting that in the email, and let's talk. I'm available Tuesday at 3:00 or Wednesday at 4. Which works best for you? You get a lot more responses with a lot more appointments and meetings than the way that I said before that.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, Jeff, because sometimes when people hear what I do, they say, oh, you need to meet Bob. He's brand new to business. He doesn't even know how to shake hands or meet people. I'm not for people that are brand new. If somebody's brand new in business, they can come sit in on a seminar and they'll get a few great tips. But people that really work with me are people like yourself who are seasoned, who are business savvy, who've been around for a while. And it's just these little, sometimes it's the littlest tweaks, just the tiniest little tweaks. So to your point, yesterday I spent 6, 7 hours just doing a bunch of follow up and getting events booked for next year and signing on new clients, etc. And it is fascinating how many people, it's an epidemic of people that don't know how to follow up, that are scared to death to pick up the phone, that will send out the email that you mentioned. Hey, it was nice to meet you. Hope I see you around sometime. And it's ambiguous and it's out there and nothing ever happens and nothing's being done. So to just bring it in a little bit and say, you know what, I really enjoyed our conversation. I have time today at 4, is tomorrow at 12 better? Just to give people that choice. Confused people do nothing.
Right.
And when you lead people and give them a choice, then they can say, well, that doesn't work for me, but how about Friday? At least now you're moving towards building that relationship and creating the revenue.
Absolutely. Another thing that Cami and I talked about was, in addition to being a mediator, I also do speaking engagements and trainings and things like that. And Cami said, you don't have a speaker sheet or speaker package? What's wrong with you? And so we talked about that. And I actually have Cami's in front of me, and she referred me somebody, did it at a very, very reasonable price. And here's something. It's similar to a business card. It's a little bit more effective. A speaker package or a speaker one sheet. Generally, people won't read the whole thing, but it's something that they have that not everybody has, right? That makes you unique and branding in the market.
That is so true. So when we're going to be a speaker, we do want to have these little nuances that set us apart. And just being able to say, where would you like me to send my speaker packet? Or I'll send my packet to you, or I'll have my assistant send you my packet. Just sending the packet. I know for a fact that most people don't read them, but the fact that you sent it is enough that it's, my analogy is Dumbo's magic feather. You know, in the story of Dumbo, Dumbo can fly, but he doesn't believe he can fly. So the crows say, hold this magic feather, and as long as you're holding it, you can fly. So for months or years, however long the span of time is, he's flying and he's the star of the show. And, you know, they show him in all these clips in different places. And then there comes a point where, you know, the wind whips the feather out of his trunk and he's like, oh no, I can't fly. I don't have my feather. And they're like, it was a trick. You really can fly. And he starts flying and lo and behold, he can. And my point is that speaker packet, sometimes just having it, just holding that packet, all of a sudden we think we can fly when we always could. So creating that packet, you may remember as we were creating your packet and looking at all your credentials and being a John Maxwell certified coach and all of the things that you've done and the places that you've worked. I mean, you have such credibility and credentials and authority that when you actually take the time to put it all in one place,
you don't realize everything you've done. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And in all fairness, prior to not having a packet versus having one, I've gotten more speaking engagements. And who knows, like Cami said, maybe they don't read the whole thing, but they'll look at it, and it's professional. And you'll get you know these engagements. And once you get in front of people, there you go. You're off to the races.
Well, you know, and that's another thing. You asked me, you know, what I do for clients. When people want to speak, I can help them with that too. You know, there are thousands of opportunities all around us everywhere. The women's groups, the meetup groups, online, you know, going to all kinds. For me, my clientele are business people. They're business people, salespeople, people who are out meeting others. How you meet people matters. So those are my people. For you, you know, going to speak with divorcee groups, you know, or people that are even dating groups, because they're going to be, I don't know, just all that different mediation kind of stuff. And so to be able to get in front of groups, how you meet people matters falls over into that as well, because when you can meet someone from the stage, there is instant credibility, instant authority. Every time I speak, I get a client. And if when a client for me is $3, $5, $8, $10,000, because I can help them double, triple, 10 times their income, then every time I get on a stage, that's not a bad day to get paid. And so, you know, for people who really want to build their credibility, consider being a speaker. And if that's something that you want to do, talk to me about it, because it's not just about getting on the stage and just verbally vomiting all over everybody. It's about having a once again, setting intention, paying attention, and creating retention.
Absolutely. Another a great tip, and about the 2 minutes we have left, and I've kind of got away from it. I'm getting back into it again, but Cami's very good at doing Facebook Lives on a regular and consistent basis. She talks about how it's important for branding to get the word out. People know who you are. I had created the Monday Mediation Minute, which I was doing on Monday afternoons, and I haven't done one in a while. And I put out an announcement that I'm coming back in January with that. But do you want to talk real quick about the importance of a Facebook Live? She does it when she's in her car. She does it at events all the time.
As a matter of fact, I'll be at an event tonight. I'll be doing some now that you've mentioned that. Whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, the thing is we have all this technology at our disposal. It's free. Why wouldn't you do it? People do business with people they like. They want to get to know you, and they're watching you. So why not do it? And it is so smart to be able to repurpose. When you do a video on Facebook Live, and then you bring it over to LinkedIn and YouTube, when you bring it there and then get rev.com to transcribe it, put the words in the description, and then beef up those with hashtags and things. Now you're doing SEO, you're creating content, you're building up content that you can sell. And one last thing about that, and I don't know if you've done it or have considered it, but taking these videos, take 20 or 30 of these videos when you're smart and you do them for a purpose. You can take 20, 30 of them that are already transcribed for $1 a minute. It's cheap. It's almost free. Take those transcriptions and you can create a book from it. And now you really are the authority.
Double your purpose.
Right. It's the best business card God ever created, and I wish I did it 10 years ago.
Absolutely. Okay, real quick, Cami, we're running towards the end, and I wish we had a lot longer. And I welcome you back anytime if you have something going on or want to, talk about it. But how can people reach you again?
CamiBaker.com, C as in Charles, A as in Apple, M as in Mary, I as in Ingrid. CamiBaker.com. And my last piece of advice, change your playgrounds, your playmates. Who are you getting your advice from? Who are you hanging out with? What are you listening to? Because that's what's feeding this, and that's what's going to make what's coming out of here more impressive.
Thanks again, Cami. Good to see you again.
Thanks. Good to see you too.
See everybody again next week on 360 Degrees of Success. Have a great week.